You talked about time shifting and things that sort of defy understanding, and one of the other things you're investing in focus areas for your business is quantum computing. And I didn't know much about quantum computing, so I looked it up. I won't find it in my notes now, but it said that, for normal computing, it's either a 0 or a 1. In quantum computing, it can be a 0 or a 1 or both at the same time.
Yeah.
Help a guy like me understand how on earth that can occur.
Yeah. The simplest way is if I told you to think of a number between 1 and 1,000. In a conventional way, I could ask you a series of questions and get the answer. Is it above or below 500? Is it above or below 750? Is it above or below 925? You kind of work your way to the answer. And then there's other ways I can get there faster by saying, is it above or below 500? Is it a prime number? And so the problem approach is very different. And the way to think about it is, if things that we view as hard science are really just ways to explain the world. So two rocks don't know that they equal two. We create this thing that we think is a hard science called mathematics, but we've all agreed that the word is going to be two and that it's going to represent these two things. So we build this abstraction to sort of explain the world. What's mind-blowing about quantum is we take that abstraction and we go back to the physical world to compute answers. And that's the part that's really like mind-blowing, because we use quantum entanglement and superposition, which you describe as it's not a 0 or a 1 until you measure it. It's just a probability. The probability only goes to 1 or 0 on observation. It's just super fascinating because it just opens up a whole new way to think about the world and computation. But we're not going to be there overnight. The same way I told you the 4 things AI is not. Quantum, we don't know how to frame the problems properly for it.
What are the applications of that? What should we achieve with quantum computing?
There's on the near horizon, the race is about the one which says that everybody who steals stuff that has taken encrypted piles of data, with quantum, they can do a brute force method of de-encrypting that, and then all stolen information now becomes visible. So we don't have any way to measure or identify where that encrypted data sits, who has stolen it and taken it. And so the world, it's like a Harry Potter cloak of invisibility that just gets lifted, and everybody says, oh my goodness, all those designs for all those things are in people's hands we didn't realize. And so there's a steal and store that's been underway, and that's the thing that causes the industry to be in a race. And that's the only really near-term thing that I think people would say we have to keep progressing for that reason. But then there's a whole other category of problems, like biology problems, healthcare, that can just get fundamentally reshaped by the technology. So it's going to grow up just like the internet. You're going to have devices, quantum computers, quantum devices. Then you're going to put them together into a quantum internet. And then you're going to have to go out and say, okay, now what do I do with this capability? Just like we did in the early days of the internet. I remember when I actually went to the University of Minnesota when it was still a DARPA project, and it was called GopherNet. Because some of its original founders were there. So I probably just really massively dated myself, but
no more so than I have.
Real quick, can you define steal and store?
Steal and store would be, I'm going to take the data and I know it's encrypted and I'm going to store it. And so I've taken your data. I have no idea what's in there, but I know what you do for a living. So I'm pretty sure that I'm going to get some really valuable stuff.
Eventually,
when I'm able to decrypt it with brute force.
Got it. Is that an evolution of being in telecom for so long with like AT&T going? Because I was trying to figure out this path of telecom to the AI to quantum computing. But when you were talking about how quantum computing, cybersecurity, because I have heard in the past that there is an arms race when it comes to cybersecurity in basically pre or just getting prepared for this moment when you do have quantum computing coming online and basically wiping out current security protocols.
Yeah, I don't think that anything comes from any one thing in my life. I'm just a random walk connecting dots. And I don't mean that flippantly. I let my interest guide me, and I don't worry about thinking in a linear fashion. And so I mentioned earlier, a lot of my choices of what I read are things that don't fit. And one of the reasons I do that is because I gain perspective on things that are, I think sometimes somewhat unusual. So I think the breakthroughs in biology affect quantum and vice versa, although physicists will tell you biology's, warm, wet, and unpredictable, so it's nothing like physics. But it's as clear as in my head that we're going to start giving PhDs in quantum biology because we're going to figure out there's a wave theory inside the body. And so, I'm not afraid to have a hypothesis that's uniquely mine that people that are way smarter than me would reject out of hand. But I think it's just like the exploration. And so I think that telecom is great because it's structure of layers in how the protocols work, and the fact that everything had to work, meaning it started out saying we're going to have reliability standards at 5 nines, which is, I forget the number, like 12 minutes a year of outage. And I might have to hit 23 operators to pick up my phone on my desk and call Japan. Those have to be handed and connected. And so that interconnection is basically the foundation of the internet, which is internetworking. And then the World Wide Web, which is not the internet. It's not synonymous. It's actually, was an abstraction. That ability to abstract in how you view the world technologically was priceless. And I think it still is sort of a great foundation. It's the mathematics, I guess, that technology runs on.